If we're not pressed for time, please share the story.
I'm not pressed for time.
Okay, great.
So this story of my own infancy, where I'm 11 months of age, and my mother gives me to a total stranger.
Right. This is during World War II, during...
Second World War,
Yeah.
Nazi-occupied Hungary, severe, vicious anti-Semitism, threat of genocide, and I'm sick, and I'm hungry, and my mother just can't keep me alive. So she gives me to a stranger in the street, who takes me to some relatives living on relatively better circumstances, and they look after me. Now, all my life, I've had this deep sense of resentment of the unfairness of life. Why did this have to happen to me? And I've had a lot of mother anger, because the infant who's given to a stranger, it doesn't matter what the motives are, just perceives themselves as being abandoned. There's no other way the infant can see themselves.
Yeah.
Deep sense of abandonment that shows up 50 years later in my relationship with my wife. Okay, that's a really tragic story, on the one hand. Or I could look at it this way. Think of the amount of love it would have taken on the part of a 24-year-old mother to give their infant after her own parents had been killed in Auschwitz, and her husband is away in forced labor, and she doesn't know if he's dead or alive, the husband. And she's got this infant. The infinite love would have taken on my mother to give me to a stranger to save my life.
Mm.
The love of the universe that shows up in this Christian woman who takes this Jewish infant and conveys him to these relatives. The love of the universe that's manifested in these relatives living under terrible circumstances than to take in this sick baby and to look after me. So I could look upon the same story as one of bitter, unfair cruelty, or I could say, look at all the love that's in it. These days, I'm really aware of the gratitude for all the love.
At its core essence, what do people need?
Well, it depends at what stage. So here's what children need. Children need unconditional, secure attachments,
Yes.
where they're welcomed in the world for exactly who they are. Not because they're cute, cuddly, and compliant, or competitive, but because they are, period.
That's unconditional love.
Unconditional love.
I accept you as is.
Totally as you are.
And there's no amount of Kuman or
No.
piano
No.
or accomplishment.
No, it's got nothing to do with accomplishment. It's got to do with being, And it's
So
interesting.
what you're talking about is inalienable a human right to love
Exactly.
and to be loved.
Totally. Which is actually a need of the human child, just as much as oxygen is.
Okay.
Secondly, rest. So the child doesn't have to work to make the relationship with the parent work. If your father's an alcoholic, for example, very often children get to be the peacemakers in a family.
Yes.
Now they have to work to make their relationship work. That's devastating for the child's development. Thirdly, I mentioned human beings are born with this whole set of emotions, this circuitry: anger, fear, seeking, playfulness, lust, fear, grief.
Right.
The human child has to be able to experience those emotions when life demands it,
Yes.
and to be able to express them,
Yes.
and to have those emotions understood, accepted, and validated by the parents.
Yeah.
So these are some of the needs of children. Adults need more. They do need a sense of belonging, a sense of meaning, a sense of purpose, a sense of value. That has got nothing to do with how successful they are, or how pretty they are, or how much they please or don't please other people.
Right.
So we do need a sense of belonging, of acceptance, of meaning, of purpose. These are human needs. Frustrate these human needs, you're going to get all kinds of dysfunctional behaviors. And in the United States right now, for example, there's been this, every year in the United States, last few years running, twice as many people a year die of drug overdoses as Americans who died in the Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghan wars put together.
Wow. So you're talking about the overdose on fentanyl and opioids and all those things. Okay.
These have been called deaths of despair. And what's happened is that, and this is recognized, I think, on all sides, young men in the States have lost their sense of belonging, purpose, and meaning because the industrial heartland has been hollowed out. And now they have no sense of meaning and purpose. They turn in desperation to drugs or to radical politics, you know. And so people do need a sense of meaning, purpose, belonging. Take that away from them, you're going to get all kinds of dysfunction. So these are human needs.
Yeah.
And everybody on all sides needs a sense of purpose, meaning, and acceptance and belonging.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get them from the wrong sources.